All right, welcome back. Now, the federal government recently announced a new phase of COVID lockdown or sort of restrictions. A lot of Nigerians are very surprised by it. Curfew has been placed from midnight to 4 a.m. And of course, gatherings are not allowed with more than 50 people at any venue. A lot of also recreational centers are supposed to be closed. We'll be joined now by Dr. Alera Roberts virtually. Thanks for being here today, Dr. Roberts. I think my first question is, a lot of Nigerians are confused because the NCDC still releases statistics for daily COVID test results. And the numbers are really, really, really low by many standards. We're seeing, I think yesterday was even less than 50 cases nationwide. And then in the middle of that, we're hearing that there's curfews and there might even be a possible phase 4 lockdown. People are not understanding why that is important. So I don't know if you have any explanation for that.
I do, because I must confess, and thank you very much for having me. Nice to see you again.
Yes.
I'm so sorry I couldn't be there in person.
It's fine.
But it is what it is. The truth of the matter is a lot of my friends, a lot of our colleagues have been asking us the same questions, socially and whatnot. This is what I call the perfect definition of a preemptive strike. We are watching with fear and trepidation what is going on in India, in Brazil, and in Turkey. And you have to remember, India is the medical tourist capital of the world. If their health system is failing under this wave of COVID cases, what will happen to us? So the best thing to do is prevention is better than cure. In the first place, people forget that these mandates were never actually lifted. I know people were generally ignoring them because the numbers were so low. And I guess the authorities were kind of like, turning a blind eye to it. But if anything, even if a quarter of what is happening in India should happen to us, a tenth of what is happening in India should happen to us, we're in deep trouble. We're in deep trouble. We don't even have the health system that can cope with it. We didn't have it then. We tried to strengthen it. We've succeeded maybe a little way, but not across the whole country. The one thing we cannot afford is a third wave.
And of course, like I said at the top of this show, we did hear from the World Health Organization that 3 more African countries have actually detected the quote-unquote strain from India, and Nigeria was one of those countries. And that, of course, also put fear in some people. So where is that strain, and what does that mean even? Because we hear that the strain spreads faster than what we had before. And does that strain being here, have we contained it? Are we supposed to be afraid now? Like, what happens with that now?
I think we should all be extremely cautious. That's number one. It is definitely more transmissible. That's a fact. We're not quite sure yet whether that translates to severity, but the thing to do is that, and it's attacking younger people. That's the second thing. So it's more transmissible, it's attacking younger people. Younger people are getting very sick and being hospitalized, which did not happen with so much with the first 2 waves. And the third thing is that we really don't have the facilities to cope anymore. So, when you think about it scientifically, the real danger are what we call the mass social gatherings. Those are the ones that are uncontrollable. We've managed to control protocols in schools. Workplaces have set up very robust COVID protocols to maintain health and safety among their staff and whatnot. The transporters, we're trying to get them to comply. By and large, air travel is reasonably safe, but the mass social gatherings, once people's inhibitions are lowered and alcohol is flowing and people are eating and drinking and the music is loud and you're talking in each other's faces directly without a mask, that's where transmission becomes so high. And that's actually what happened in India when the President Modi sort of said, they've beaten COVID, they've done a very good job, election rallies were going on, there were religious mass gatherings, and their weddings are even larger than our own. That's what we noticed is the difference between Nigeria and India that led to the situation they have in India, and which we are desperately trying to prevent in Nigeria.
I want to talk vaccines now, because the vaccines have been rolled out in Nigeria. Very slow by global standards, but by African standards, we seem to be doing okay. But Nigeria has a very huge population. I think we've had less than 4 million.
3.92 million
doses so far, and I think the second dose is about to be due for those who have taken their first dose.
Absolutely, yes.
What does that do now for this strain? We know we're supposed to expect another sort of batch, I think in July, of more of the AstraZeneca or vaccines. Does that give anybody comfort? Because we're also hearing sort of conflicting. The CDC in America has said no need to wear masks if you're vaccinated. The UK has not even banned travel from India, saying that their border control is good enough because they feel like they're doing well with the vaccines. So is the vaccine a good sort of buffer for us?
The vaccine is an excellent buffer for us. It's about the only buffer we have that we can afford to put into place, to be honest with you. And the Oxford AstraZeneca has shown itself to be extremely effective in preventing severe disease and hospitalization, which is really what we want. What we do not want is a lot of hospitalization, a lot of severe disease. So that's what the AstraZeneca vaccine saves us from. We need a lot more. We need to be able to at least achieve 60% coverage in Nigeria, which is almost, if I recall, about 120 million Nigerians. So we're a very, very, very long way from achieving that. But if at least we can protect our health and security workers, the frontline workers, the health, security, teaching staff, then at least we have some measure of comfort, as it were, against people, because we cannot afford to lose certain critical sectors of the economy. Otherwise, the economy has taken a huge battering as it is. We can't afford to let it be battered any further. So I also heard that we're getting some more vaccines in July. I pray that is true. We are certainly starting the rollout of the second dose. I think, if I'm correct, it's about the 28th of May, if I recall, at least in Lagos State. And then, so the thing is that if you've had 2 doses, 2 weeks after you've had the second dose, your immunity is probably at the highest level that it's going to be. And while it is safe to say you cannot get severely ill or be hospitalized, we are not yet sure if you can or cannot transmit the virus.
Yes.
So the US can take the decision that is taken because they've got a higher proportion of their population that has been vaccinated, and they've got access to the vaccine. So that the only thing that's stopping people from getting vaccinated is their own decision not vaccinated for whatever weird reason that may be.
Yeah.
But we still have a ways to go before we can get there. So the thing to do is for us to maintain our public health interventions, wear the mask, avoid social mass gatherings.
Okay.
Those are the personal events.
Yeah, I mean, vaccine politics is a whole other conversation we can't even get into now, and vaccine nationalism. But on a final note now, so maybe just because it's a conversation I know a lot of people have about, does COVID move faster at night? And why is the curfew in place at night and during the day we can move freely? Why midnight to 4 a.m.? Does the vaccines fly differently at that time of the day?
Bars, nightclubs, and parties. That's the mass social gathering we're trying to avoid. I hear you because wedding parties start at what, 9, 10 at night and go on till the following morning. Yeah, that's what we're trying to avoid. That's what we're really trying to, and particularly in the highly densely populated cities like Lagos, Port Harcourt.
Yes.
Where university towns where the young people gather. It's protecting them to protect us.
Yes.
So, no,
I'm sorry, I just had to ask that. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Alera Roberts. Always good to see you, and please come again when we ask you to be here. Have a great week ahead.
You too.
All right.
Bye.